So I guess we got to get to the headlines. So the Jason Meade trial is over. We got the verdict yesterday, sort of.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we say sort of because it's kind of a split verdict. And I think first of all, we were surprised that the jury came back Thursday. We all, based on experience, expected the verdict to be today,
right,
Friday. But they came back mid-afternoon, and we saw that red, green light change. So we thought, oh, there's something. And the judge actually told the jurors, go back and try to figure this out.
Right. We heard that again. We heard that the last time when the whole thing was a mistrial of like, he just kept saying, no, try again.
Yes.
I'm not allowing you to do that. And, you know, I said yesterday, I said, color me surprised if we have a verdict on Thursday. And here it is at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And I'm like, oh, yep.
So
they did. So
it's
here's
clear
what,
that they were split.
Yeah. So here's what we heard.
We, the jury, upon our oaths and law and evidence in this case, find the defendant guilty of reckless homicide as charged in count 2 of the indictment. Sign this, gentlemen, on behalf of the court.
So obviously guilty on the reckless homicide mistrial on that murder charge. It was a pretty emotional afternoon in the courtroom there. Immediately after we saw that verdict come down. So this is something 6 years, you know, what, 2 trials 6 years later. This is the outcome of that. And immediately after, we heard from really a round robin of people, both defense, prosecution, various people on either side as well.
FOP President Brian Steele spoke as well.
Right. Here's what he had to say.
Now, he's getting locked up in accounting. To me, that's kind of a joke. You cannot tell me politics does not influence policing in court.
So that was FOP Lodge 9 president, Fraternal Order of Police President Brian Steele. He is the FOP is the police union. He had some very strong words to say during that, really at times criticizing the decision of the jury and how this was handled. There were a few times he mentioned, and it's something that we've talked about, is should this case have been moved outside of Franklin County, because obviously 6 years later there's been a lot of talk about it, and he said, basically you're not going to get an impartial jury in Franklin County, pulling politics into it, with that. But anyway, we also heard from Sam Walton, who has been the Sean Walton, sorry,
that's okay. The family attorney for the Goodson family,
yes, and this is what he mentioned after the trial.
Well, there's a relief to know that as we leave court here today, he is not free for what he did to Casey, and that's all they wanted, was accountability and justice for Casey. He's been painted as somebody who he was not. He was an innocent man. He was no record, no nothing, and he didn't deserve to die.
And we didn't really hear anything from, we did hear from the prosecution a little bit afterward, because now they're deciding on, do they try it again?
The third time
for the murder charge.
Right.
They can't do the reckless homicide. That's done. Double jeopardy comes into play there. But for the murder charge, that is the question. Will they do it again? Yesterday they said, right now that's not something we're even talking about. We've got to collect what happened.
Regroup.
Because this was 12 days? No. Yes. It was right under 2 weeks. Yeah. Yeah. So, and that's not counting the jury selection. So we did hear a little bit, or at least we heard got a statement from Mark Collins, Caitlin Stevens, who is Jason Meade's legal counsel in this. And they sent us this, saying an issue that is remaining is the appropriate punishment for reckless homicide. This is the province of Judge Young, and his decision is guided by sentencing factors, not sympathy. So we know that in the state of Ohio, reckless homicide is, it carries, there it is.
9 to 36.
It's a 9 to 36 months. It is a third-degree felony in the state of Ohio. So we do know that sentencing is coming up later this year, July 16th.
Yes, and I think, whatever the sentencing is, on the flip side, again, we heard from Tamala Payne, Casey Goodson's mom, soon after the verdict was read, and she did say justice for Casey. So I think part of the family feels like at least there was a guilty verdict on something that they feel like Casey Goodson, in their eyes, did, that they did get justice in some form. Whether or not, I think it was also asked if they would like to see the murder trial. And I think that they too were just, let's pause in this moment and just for them, say we have justice, at least in the reckless homicide, and take it from there.
Yeah, and this one was a slightly quicker trial than the last time. The last one went three weeks.
3 weeks, yeah.
This time we were there for 12 days. Jury deliberated for really less than a day.
Yeah, Thursday was the first full day.
Because they got it, they got the case late Wednesday, and then we're done before the end of day yesterday. So I mean, I guess you could say they deliberated for a full day on that. Where the last time we went 3 days, and then still ended up in a mistrial. We went through 4 alternate jurors. This time, I think we only swapped out one.
Right,
so, there were some similarities in this trial compared to the last one, but also some differences. Obviously, the big difference out of this is that we did get a guilty verdict on the reckless homicide.
At the end of the day, I think in the words of prosecutor Shayla Favor, she basically said, there are no winners today, though. I mean, when you really look at the end of the day, there are no winners in a case like this.
Right.
Lives have been forever changed.
Yeah, you've got a family that's out of a son, and then Jason Meade, who has ultimately lost his job at the sheriff's office, is now a felon.
Yeah.
It has a wide-reaching effect on both sides. And Dallas Baldwin, the Franklin County sheriff, did not comment, basically because of that mistrial of that murder charge, basically saying that since this is still tied up in the legal system, I'm going to basically step aside and not say anything for now, because I'm not going to interfere with how that's all going for now.
Still a case.